Ed Pomfret, Communications and Media Lead at Fight Inequality Alliance, joins us to discuss this further. Very good evening to you. Good to have you with us on Africa in Business.
Good evening, Tammy. Thanks for having us.
So what do you make of this announcement about Elon Musk becoming the world's first trillionaire?
Well, to be honest, I had to sit and take a moment with the number because really, I think our brains aren't really built for it. If anyone tries to write down a trillion, it's a one with 12 zeros after it. So if you spend $1 million every single day, it would take you literally 2,700 years to spend that trillion. That's if you spend $1 million every day. Obviously, it's more than double the entire GDP of South Africa, and that's the biggest economy on the continent, as we know. I think the key thing is like this fortune didn't come from some new invention. It came from a paper reevaluation of SpaceX and his AI company, and that's what pushed him over the trillion edge. Tesla, which is one of the main drivers of his wealth, runs on public subsidy, tax breaks, and regulatory frameworks that he has spent years bending into shape. So I think the thing that I feel about this is Musk's trillion doesn't materialize from genius. It's literally extracted from the systems that workers built, that government subsidized, and the public is now invited to applaud.
According to Oxfam, 60% of billionaire wealth globally is derived from inheritance, from monopoly power or crony connections, as they put it. Are you in agreement with this sentiment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Oxfam's annual report on inequality is a very strong basis for understanding how this crony capitalism works. This destroys the myth that the whole system rests on, the myth reinforced by the finance and crypto bros that extreme wealth is a reward for talent and hard work. 60% of billionaire wealth is inherited, extracted through monopoly, or handed over in political connections. This is like Nepo baby is at a huge scale. And it repeats everywhere. You know full well in South Africa, the Guptas captured so much of the Zuma government, the Judicial Commission said the state itself being captured. In India, the second richest man, Adani, his fortune grew in lockstep with his closeness with Modi. And in Mexico, Carlos Slim got rich almost overnight when the government privatized the phone monopoly and handed it to him. And billionaires are 4,000 times more likely to hold political office than ordinary citizens. And when they don't hold office, they just buy the people who do. So I don't think that is earned wealth. It's power that's being captured.
You also made a statement that was quite interesting, saying that the system that made Elon Musk a trillionaire is exactly the same system that underfunds hospitals, that loads countries across Africa, Asia, and Latin America with unpayable debt. How so?
It's the same system with the same rules. The rules written for him, not for people in Johannesburg or in Lusaka or in Delhi. And what he did for himself, while his companies held billions in government contracts, Musk was inside the US government running Doge, the infamous Doge, and firing the regulators who might have asked some awkward questions of his own companies. But if you take that regulatory capture as a business model, you apply it around the world, it's the same system that forces African governments to borrow it 3, 4, 5 times the rate a rich country pays, and then spend more servicing that debt than on health. So my point is, when a clinic has no medicine, that's not about scarcity. The money exists. I mean, there's $1 trillion sitting in one man's pocket. It's being captured by someone. An empty health clinic is always a political choice about who the rules serve. And not taxing the wealthy is also a political choice about who the rules serve and who the system serves.
What you're talking about, Ed, really is around the concentration of influence around a single entrepreneur or around a single class of people or a group of quote unquote the chosen. How does that concentration of influence amplify concerns around corporate governance, conflicts of interests, the risk of tying company fortunes too closely to, one individual or group of individuals?
Yeah, I mean, Musk is a really good example of this. When one unelected person controls the rockets taking humans to space, the satellites carrying much of the world's communications, a platform that shapes what billions of people read and think, and an AI company that's scaling up for the next century. I don't think that really is entrepreneurship. That's really about power, and the power is private, it's unaccountable, it's unchallengeable, and it's on a scale we've never seen. I think no one voted for this. There's no mandate and no accountability towards the people who made this wealth for him. And the scale of this control matters. Democracy is built on the idea power has to be distributed and held to account. People fought for that for centuries. And right now, everyone needs to be asking whether any single human should ever be allowed to accumulate this level of power over the rest of us. And more people on every continent are answering that question. And they're answering it by saying, no, enough is enough.
Your organization, Fight Inequality Alliance, it's very self explanatory just by the title. But I'm going to ask you now to place yourself in the context of where we are in the world and the status quo as far as wealth and power. And then also look at this utopian ideal that has been the bedrock of voting and a free franchise system where individuals believe in a future that they can create for themselves, where they have the opportunity to go beyond the class that they've been born into or to improve their socio-economic status. What would need to be adjusted in order for that to indeed become a reality and to balance the scales a lot more to reduce this geo coefficient?
Yeah, I think there's this theory of a level playing field. You work hard, you save your money, you will be able to, as you say, you'll be able to move forward, break out of the class that you find yourself in. But with this level of wealth concentration, that's just patently untrue at the moment. You've got one man holding $1 trillion, and the poorest half of humanity, like 4 billion people, hold barely 2% of all the global wealth. So Musk isn't really an outlier. He's just the one who's scaled the pyramid the furthest through his own machinations. What I think is important is that people around the world can feel that this is unjust, that this playing field is not level. We, the people, we did the maths long before the economists caught up, and around the world, people are organizing to change it. So we've seen in Kenya, young people took to the streets and forced the tax climb down. In Madagascar, they brought down the government. Young people were taking to the streets, demanding rules be rewritten, and they're doing it without the $1 trillion war chests. As you say, at Fight Inequality Alliance, we see this every day. People who know the wealth has been captured and they're determined to take it back. And I think when we think about what a new system looks like, every wealth tax argued for in a parliament, every billionaire levy debated at the UN, every debt cancellation demand making it onto government agendas got there because people organized and they refused to accept the terms being set them from above. The 1% have the money and for now the control of the politics, but the 99% have the majority, the moral case, and a refusal to be distracted from who is actually picking their pockets.
Ed Pomfret, we're going to have to leave it at that. Thank you so much. Really engaging conversation there.